Alrighty, so today I'm going to be installing a Bell Raceworks rear differential brace for my 2008 Nissan 350Z. The reason I'm going to be doing that is that there is only a single bolt that holds on the diff from the back, and taking it to events like drift events, clutch kicking, it can break the bolt. This rear differential brace that I'm going to be installing adds another point of contact that kind of holds the diff to the chassis. So it's supposed to help keep the diff from breaking off that one bolt off the back and help keep it in place. Alrighty, so I got my car jacked up already. Just jacked it from the rear diff there. Make sure to always put it on jack stands, especially when you're going underneath the car. I do have the front wheel chalked over there just in case, but shouldn't really matter too much. So the piece that we're going to be installing today is this right here. So you have these two lower bolts here. You're going to be replacing two bolts on your rear differential cover, and those are going to be going with these longer bolts instead to go through this brace here. And then this is the top bolt. It comes with a sleeve to go through I believe the rear subframe, and then that's what goes to the car to give you that extra point of contact. I am going to be using some medium strength thread locker. It is just 243, just to make sure that none of these bolts back themselves out through the added vibration in the chassis. I'm just underneath the car now, and since we are just using the factory hole on the rear subframe here, we only have to undo these two bolts on the diff cover. They're going to be a 14 millimeter, and so I'm just going to remove those now. And after that's done, you're just going to want to take the longer bolts and thread them through the brace here. And like I mentioned earlier, I am going to be putting a little bit of this medium strength blue thread locker on there just to help hold it in. So I'm just going to take the differential brace like this with all the bolts in. I have the sleeve around this top one as well, and I'm just going to slide it through this rear subframe here as I get these bottom ones lined up. Now, since we're threading this into the diff and it only takes about 35 or 36 foot-pounds of torque to get these bolts tightened up, I'm going to be using a ratchet instead of the power tool or the impact gun I used earlier, just because it's such a low torque spec that I don't want to strip anything. Alrighty, so now I'm on the other side of the diff, and you can see the shiny bolt poking out up there with the blue thread locker on it. I'm just going to be taking the lock nut and the washer that came with the kit and putting that on there and threading it on. Now, after that's done, I'm going to take a 3/4 inch wrench here, put it on the back side, and then take this 3/4 inch ratcheting wrench and tighten it down. So now that everything's snug, I'm just going to take my torque wrench here and I'm going to torque all these bolts down to 32 foot-pounds. It looks like that's what the torque specs are for the rear diff cover bolts. So I'm just going to do that now. And then since this top bolt isn't a factory bolt location, I'm just going to tighten it pretty snug. Also, since we're just going to a nut on the back side, it shouldn't be of any issue. And then once that's all tightened, you're pretty much done and the diff brace is in. Now, one other mod you may want to do alongside with the diff brace that I haven't done yet is to replace the stock bushings for the rear differential. I'm right now planning on going with urethane, but I'm going to look up and see if maybe solid is a better choice for using with this brace, since this is technically a solid connection from the diff to the car. So I will probably have a later video installing that. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see that. And then that's pretty much it. It's a pretty quick, easy, and simple install. I'm going to have future videos on this car as I get it more prepared for the track. It is a HR car, so it does have the Evo steering rack. I'm planning on getting a different steering rack to get rid of that, also since mine is leaking. So I'm probably going to be picking up a DE rack, I think is what people were saying, and also replacing the motor mounts in the trans mount as well, since when I was doing the clutch, I noticed that the motor mounts are pretty worn. You can kind of move the engine with just like one finger pretty much, and then might as well do the trans mount with that. And then should be pretty ready for the some track stuff, primarily drifting. However, I did pick up these RPF ones here. They're 18 by 10.5 plus 15, I believe. And they're in special black chrome, and the Rapid Hankook RS4s, which are a pretty aggressive summer tire. So I'm probably going to take it to the track, see how a nearly stock HR does. There's no suspension mods yet. Like I mentioned, the only thing really is the upgraded clutch with the flywheel, and then it just has a MagnaFlow catback exhaust. But besides that, everything else is pretty much stock. Let me know if there's any other videos you'd like to see on this car, any other mods. I plan on doing suspension as well. Gonna be most likely going with Fortunato 500, but let me know if there's any other simple mods or things you'd like to see. I will have a video coming soon once I figure out how to disable all of the traction control, the VDC, whatever it is in this car that keeps traction control on, because just disabling using the button doesn't do that. There's a couple of videos out there that say different things, so I'm going to try and install a on-off switch for it so that I can still drive on the streets without having any issues. But I will have a video of that coming out soon. So yeah, be on the lookout for those videos if you are interested. Otherwise, comment down below on things you'd like to see or what you thought of the video. Thank you.